The U.S. government is once again facing a possible shutdown, a scenario that has become all too familiar in recent years. As Congress approaches a critical funding deadline that could have widespread implications, lawmakers are deadlocked, with the current funding set to expire at midnight on September 30th, leaving little time for negotiation. If no agreement is reached, many federal agencies will close, affecting essential services and federal workers nationwide, from coast to coast. The House, led by Republicans, passed a temporary funding bill, but it was blocked in the Senate, adding to the uncertainty. Senate leaders remain at odds, and without compromise, a shutdown is likely, impacting millions of Americans. A shutdown halts non-essential government functions, from passport processing to national park operations, disrupting daily life. Both parties blame each other for the impasse, each pushing their own priorities and refusing to budge. Republicans claim their proposal is a straightforward solution to the problem, while Democrats argue it ignores urgent needs and fails to address key issues. As the deadline looms, the political rhetoric intensifies, leaving Americans uncertain about the impact on their daily lives and future. This isn't just political theater, it has real consequences for families and the economy, affecting everything from household budgets to national financial stability. The next few days will determine if Congress can break the stalemate or if the nation faces another costly shutdown with far-reaching effects. Amid the standoff, Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa is demanding answers about the true cost of a shutdown. She's raising critical questions that many Americans are also asking. She's asked the Congressional Budget Office for a detailed report on the economic and operational fallout. This report is expected to shed light on the broader implications. Ernst wants to know the price tag for back pay to furloughed federal workers, which could be substantial, the impact on military and congressional pay, ensuring that those who serve and govern are not left in financial limbo, and the effects on private businesses relying on government services. These businesses are often the backbone of local economies. She's also questioning the fate of national parks, which attract millions of visitors annually, and whether states would have to foot the bill to keep them open. This could place additional financial strain on state budgets. Ernst criticizes Democrats for risking mass furloughs after previously decrying agency layoffs. She argues that this is a contradiction. Her goal forced both parties to confront the real, tangible costs of political gridlock. She believes this is essential for accountability. By demanding hard data, she hopes to shift the debate from rhetoric to reality. This could lead to more informed decision-making. The report could shape the conversation as the shutdown deadline approaches, potentially influencing future policy decisions. The deadlock in Congress centers on each party's demands, with both sides digging in and refusing to compromise. Democrats refuse to support a short-term funding bill unless it includes permanent ACA subsidies, which they argue are vital for millions of Americans who rely on affordable health care. They also demand a repeal of a controversial section in a recent GOP healthcare bill, which they believe undermines key patient protections. Additionally, Democrats want restored funding for NPR and PBS, seeing public broadcasting as essential for education and unbiased news. They argue these are not just political bargaining chips, but essential priorities that reflect their core values and commitments to their constituents. Republicans, meanwhile, want a clean funding extension with no major policy changes attached, insisting that the government must stay open without unrelated demands. They accuse Democrats of holding the government hostage for partisan gains, and say these tactics are irresponsible during a funding crisis. GOP leaders argue that issues like ACA subsidies and public broadcasting should be debated separately, through regular legislative channels, and not tied to the urgent matter of keeping the government open and functioning for the American people. This fundamental disagreement over process and priorities keeps both sides far apart, fueling frustration and uncertainty across the country. With neither party willing to back down or make concessions, the impasse only deepens. The result is a high-stakes standoff, leaving the nation in suspense and with no clear path forward in sight. Tensions escalated when President Trump abruptly canceled a planned meeting with Democratic leaders. The meeting was meant to negotiate a funding deal, but Trump called it off, citing ridiculous Democratic demands. This move shut down a key negotiation channel and increased pressure on congressional Republicans. Democrats quickly blamed Trump for the breakdown, calling it a failure of leadership. Both sides are now focused on blaming each other for the looming shutdown, rather than finding a solution. The public finger-pointing highlights deep distrust and makes compromise even harder. With talks stalled, the chances of a last-minute deal are fading. A shutdown isn't just a political fight, it hits real people hard. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are furloughed without pay, causing financial stress for families. Businesses and citizens face delays in loans, permits, and essential services. National parks and museums may close, hurting tourism and local economies. The 2019 shutdown cost the U.S. economy an estimated $3 billion in permanent losses. Everyday services from food safety inspections to IRS inquiries are disrupted. Political gridlock creates uncertainty, disrupts lives, and damages the economy. As the deadline nears, the pressure is on Congress to avoid repeating past mistakes.